Fine. Okay. Hey, Kelly. I love how her hair is so red and her eyebrows are so thick and dark. Not holding it. Twice, thrice, broken dick. It's like that song was going so many relatable places and then it ended up there. Logan Paul is delusional. Yeah, we know. I guess mixed messages just didn't get across because it's not as relatable. Hello, real Evan Briggs. Hello, Gigi Cooks Health. Hello, Como? Comeaux. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Lori. Hello, UF. Hello, Bryant. Hello, Cindy. Disagree. Well, if you disagree, get on up in that guest box. Hello, OG Nemesis. And you have enough people to come up. You can come on up. It's all good. How are you doing? Hello, Ramona's daughter.
What's up?
Hello. How old are you?
Me, 43.
Right on. What would you like to say about the topic?
Well, I want you to defend your position.
Why?
Because this is your live and you're making a statement.
Hello,
So
girl. Hello, Destiny Ford.
this is your live, right? So defend your position.
Democrats and Republicans hate. I'm telling you right now, Democrats and Republicans hate homeless people because neither of them actively do policies to help homelessness, and are even working to do policies against homelessness. So go ahead.
The best thing
Hello,
we can do for
caffeinated.
the best thing we could do for homelessness is increase mental health and get rid of or do welfare reform.
What
Make
about
it-
affordable housing?
Well, you have to take down the costs of things that make that house before you could talk about affordable housing.
And we're not really going to do
don't
that
want-
with the tariff. Hang
what you
on a
don't-
second. Gotta stop. So, with that being said,
You
with
gotta
the
let-
president that just got. No, you started interrupting me, sir. You said you're in your 40s. I know you know how to not interrupt. So, with that being said, with us having a president that's about to raise tariffs, that's going to make some, not all, but some, maybe some would argue even most supplies increase. How's that going to happen?
Do you know anything about basic
Okay.
economics? Do you
Basic
understand
economics.
how- Yeah, like have you ever taken a macroeconomics class or microeconomics class? Do you understand how tariffs
No, I
are used
haven't.
for incentive structure for trade across the country, trade across the world? Like, do you
Tariffs are
understand
used
how
for incentive structures for trade code. That's not how they're treated
Correct.
because
So
we pay for
tariffs are used as
those.
bargaining
Because
structures. They've been
we
used up
pay
till
for those tariffs.
up till 1913. The country was funded
Tariff
almost
saves
completely
company
on
and jobs.
tariffs.
Would you like to say that to the people who are not getting their Christmas bonuses and companies who are planning layoffs for upcoming
Yes, but you
tariffs?
see, we're under Biden's government right now. You know, he's still the president. I know you don't
Yeah.
want to believe that, but
And
he's still
then-
there. The policies that he put in place for the last 4 years.
All right, so what we're not going to do is project. That's what we're not going to do. And we're not going to make assumptions.
No,
Hey,
we're
Stacey.
not making assumptions. We're talking about the country in which we
No,
live.
so you said Joe Biden is still president. I know you don't like it. That's an assumption. So we're going to slow our roll, okay?
No, he's the president. Are we denying that fact?
Yeah. No, I'm
Is that
not.
a fact or is that an assumption?
All right,
Is it a
OG.
fact?
When you figure out some manners, you can come back. So what I said is, hello, Liquid Logic. What I said is you started with making an assumption about whether or not I like that Joe Biden is the president. That is an assumption directly about me. So when you figure out how to not make assumptions and you can be a big boy, then we can talk. Is your name referee? Or refer or what? Reefer Reaper. Got it. Reefer Reaper, what's up? All right, Reefer Reaper is apparently not coming back. Catch you on the flip. Cavity Buster, hello. If you don't know how to unmute, I can't help you. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Kim. How you doing, Liquid Logic? Thank you so much for starting a new poll.
There we go.
All right. Could you unmute yourself when I was calling for you, or was something going on?
No, it never just gave me an option. It's kind of
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that does happen. I do apologize. That happen. That is a glitch that happens pretty rarely,
That's
but
technology.
it does happen. Yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Right on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just I guess I'm a little conflicted on the topic. The Democrats and Republicans hate homeless people. I just feel like to marginalize people and use the word hate, that's a little strong. I guess my question is, what life experiences has made you believe that?
Hang on just a second. The screen is blocked. Watching Republicans and Democrats not only not make or be very slow to make policies that would benefit homeless people, like rent control and etc., but also making hostile laws against homeless people, anti-loitering laws, hostile architecture, and so on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think that there's definitely a small picture that you're kind of drawing from. I live in the Midwest. So
I live in the Midwest as well, actually. I live in Minnesota.
So in our area, there's abundance of VA programs, and there's actually communities out here that they have built for not only homeless but VA vets that are also homeless. It's kind of nice, but there's they're trying to not only push more for VA benefits for those, but but also I think, as another gentleman said, mental health is it kind of ties hand in hand with that. I think that there's a common agreement that mental health is a problem in this country, and I think that there are steps being taken to counteract that. I think the problem is a lot of it's a cash grab for bigger businesses, big pharma, stuff like that. I think I think it's I don't know.
Hey,
It's hard to say that people hate homeless people, or it's hard to, I guess, agree with that in any way, shape, or form. When I just see constant progress.
Where you are,
myself,
which is
where I'm at.
Yeah. So here where I am, there are constant sweeps and fences put up, and the money and some of the budget for those concrete blocks that they put down and those fences that they put up came out of our COVID budget and out of our opioid restoration budget.
Right.
So we obviously live in two different places, right?
Right.
So in the meantime, there's what happened in Duluth, Minnesota, where they outright made homelessness illegal. There's that city in Oregon that you may have already heard of, because it sounds like you keep track of this kind of stuff, that made sleeping outside illegal, even when there are no shelter beds. And that place is Republican. Duluth is Democrat. Where I am is Democrat. And there's that whole situation going on in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that backs my statement.
Yeah. I think the hard part of that homelessness is the homelessness problem. I think is exactly how those people are becoming homeless. I'd feel, I'd feel better about putting a, say, homeless veteran in a home, say with monthly stipend. I feel better about doing that than putting someone who may have battled with addiction their whole life just in a home. I feel more comfortable about money being routed towards recovery programs, treatment programs, stuff like that. And I just feel like anywhere in the country, I feel like
Reefer,
they're trying to do that.
Hang on a second. One, no, they're not. They're not trying to do that anywhere in the country. And two, why? I don't think you care about drugs as much as you say you do, honestly, because Trump Jr. and Hunter Biden are both on drugs, and they'll never have to worry about being homeless. I think that when people talk about drugs, they want to talk about taking away a person's personal autonomy just because they're homeless. And we have been raised in the propaganda of believing that we should be able to tell people who are beneath us what to do. And the most villainized and openly discriminated against demographic is homeless people. When was the last time you saw a positive depiction of a homeless person on TV, Reefer?
Actually, not that long ago. Homeless guy actually saved a girl from getting mugged. Pretty nice.
What show was that?
That was on a station I believe aired out of Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So when was the last time, I'll ask a more specific question. When was the last time you saw a positive depiction of a homeless person on syndicated television, like a TV show?
I don't, oh gosh. I guess you can't, because it's kind of one of those, I guess, hand in hand type things. It's kind of, and that's not the hard part, but the bad thing is that, yeah, homeless are degraded or looked at as less than. I don't agree with that. And I think a lot of people don't agree with that. But I think
you say that, but we see
down,
how we. Reefer, hang on a second. Keep in mind, you're talking to a homeless person. So you say that, and yet there's a TikToker on here. Hey, Rob, there's a TikToker on here that takes his son, who I believe is a child, not even a teenager, a straight up child, and goes around berating homeless people. And that person, homeless people in their area, to be more specific, and people have reported this person, but TikTok won't do anything about this guy taking his son to openly harass local homeless people because they aren't TikTokers. Vet in the requests if you want a voice for that. Okay. You can let people up. So, there are also these I don't know what we're calling them now, like these Mr. Beast type people who are recording themselves giving stuff to homeless people to seem saintly. And I don't know if I would say that those are necessarily positive or negative depictions of homeless people, but definitely tokenizing homeless people. I can't let myself up, my bad. Oh, both of y'all are with you. Okay. We're gonna hold on a second though, because I'm talking right now. Hello, Mana. Thank you for the follow. So, what I'm ultimately getting at is that there are no positive depictions of homeless people. Homeless people are usually depicted as what we saw on Portlandia, being unkempt, violent, sexual deviants. That's what I'm saying.
Why do you think that is, though?
Propaganda. Dehumanizing propaganda to make people feel like they are better than, and it's really easy to punch down and kick people while they're down. Because I will remind you that 60% of Americans are one missed paycheck away from being homeless. And 60% of the people who are already homeless have a form of income. And 40% of that 60% get their income from being employed full time. So either 60% of Americans are one missed paycheck away from being unkempt, mentally ill sexual deviants, or we have a different problem.
Yeah, probably. I mean, definitely an economy problem, but I think it's. I don't know. I wouldn't say
Definitely
that
the
everyone.
what problem?
I wouldn't say that everyone depicts.
Reefer, hang on a second. What was that thing you said before?
Saying that there's definitely been an economy problem.
An economy problem. Okay, that's what you said. Okay,
100%.
please continue. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that everyone or most people even depict homeless as the bad, the druggies, the this, that, the other. I think people have a moral understanding that, at least I hope so, that people are people. Everyone has stories. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, people are, some people are one missed paycheck away. I've been in that boat with 2 kids, So yeah, you can't cast any judgment. But I think to, categorize, Republicans, Democrats as a whole, I don't think it matters what political affiliation you have. I don't think it's right to say, this person, that person doesn't care about the homeless herself. And I understand that you are yourself, so I can understand how you could have that picture painted from your personal experience. But
Reefer, are you a? Is it safe for me to assume that you are a white male?
Yeah, sure am.
Okay. So, as the person who has the most representation and the most diverse, you are 2 demographics that have the most diverse representation. So, you like a white male can be a rich serial killer on Wall Street, American Psycho, or a grumpy old man, some of Danny DeVito's roles, or a well-to-do gay man or whatever. So so as somebody who gets represented in all of these different things across the board, until we get to the homeless demographic where every homeless person on syndicated television gets depicted as unkempt, violent, mentally ill sexual deviants, how do you feel like you can say that you can give an accurate representation of how people are depicted and what people believe as somebody who has the most diverse representation in our media?
No, I don't believe that the skin complexion of yourself should defer that whatsoever, or change that.
I get that you. Thank you, Harold. I get that you think that, but that is the way it is. You benefit from white supremacy and white privilege, especially as a white male, and there's no way around that.
I've been stopped in Memphis, Tennessee, with marijuana and a firearm without a license to carry at the time. And I definitely didn't get treated any differently from the white cop or the black supervisor that he had. I was treated no differently.
So
even
you
with my wife
committed
and my
a crime.
1-year-old in the car.
All
I
right,
don't think skin complexion or whatever makes
so
any
you
difference.
committed a crime, and because you. How would you?
No, it was,
how would you have
actually,
wanted that to play out?
It's actually
No,
legal.
not that you.
We was decriminalized in Tennessee and firearms as well. Only problem was I didn't concealed carry doesn't transfer state to state, and that's
Yeah, so you
that's
broke the
just
law.
fine. No, I actually practiced my constitutional right, and that's exactly what got
Concealed
me
carry
off
doesn't
scot-free.
concealed carry doesn't carry state to state, so you broke a law. The fact that you can say that is your white privilege showing, my dude. The fact that you can say that is proving my point.
I've got a
That
brother
is
in
so
arms that
weird
went through
of
the
you.
same thing, different color.
Oh, so you're all a bunch of lawbreakers.
No, just
You
constitutionally,
roll the
carrying
law breaking
folk.
crew.
just constitutionally carrying folk over an imaginary line.
Okay. All right. You criminal? What?
I have nothing on my criminal record. I have a clean slate.
Because you have white privilege.
No,
I love
because
that
I
for you.
actually still follow the law to an extent.
To an extent. You admit that you commit crimes and you have a clear criminal record, and that has nothing to do with white male privilege in a country built off of chattel slavery and native genocide. Oh my God. What are we doing here, man?
Misdemeanors.
What's the point? What is the point? You don't have any other life experiences. Have you ever, you said that you've been housing insecure before, but have you been just straight up homeless?
Yeah, 19. At
At
19
19.
to
You
21.
said that you're, wait, what?
19 to 21.
And you said you were how old? Please remind me.
29.
You mean like
Okay, this just
from
recently happened to
age,
you.
So I
from age 19 to 21 or
was
2019?
homeless from 19 to 21.
I'm assuming that means age.
Correct.
Yes, okay. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, a couple things. Good for you for being treated by the criminal justice system as you are supposed to be.
Question mark? Big question mark.
And so here's the thing about privilege. It doesn't mean that you get treated better than I do. It means that I get treated worse than you do regularly. That's what privilege means. So you not getting
I
any
feel like you
different.
just said to me. I feel like you just said to my.
So what you're not going to do is cut off a black man talking. Go ahead, Sean.
So obviously unpleasant feelings and whatnot, that's pretty regular when it comes to law enforcement. However, if you're okay with sharing, I do want to wonder what the consequences were of you being caught with said contraband.
Illegal firearm. Yeah, illegal firearm and marijuana. Go ahead.
So I spent $600 in court fees. I drove a collective of over 1,800 miles back and forth to Tennessee, and I was without my firearm for 9 months as it was in holding.
Anything else?
That was it.
Can you, and not a gotcha, just off the top of your head, talking about disparities in the criminal justice system, what do you think the experience of minorities are with the same
Probably just as frightful as myself.
Okay, so that question was what I like to call an integrity check. It's questions that I ask to see if people are going to answer them honestly or not. And it's pretty given that minorities would be given much harsher sentences and consequences than white people. Like it's not a debate, it's proven. That in itself is more than enough proof to be like, well, yeah, I can see how things are definitely swayed towards my benefit. But more so, when we talk about homeless people, just in general, I want to put the understanding that when we're talking about you wanting to prefer these people get these resources over these people get these resources, it's essentially saying, I am going to make your decisions for you, since by my judgment, you can't make decisions for yourself because you're in this position. So you give up your right to make your own decisions when you end up homeless. And for me to help you, that means that I'm going to have to direct how this help gets at you. Because you mentioned before about thinking that people understand mostly when it comes to homelessness. But if people understood, wouldn't homelessness be much, much, much less of a problem, if not a problem at all, if people actually understood?
That's a great question. Reefer, I'm interested in your answer.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that the homelessness side of it, I mean, again, I don't think it, for whether you're homeless for this reason, homeless for that reason, I think it's good to delegate exactly why they're in that position so you can better focus on the right amenities to get them back to where they're, of course, a functioning part of society. I think that a treatment or a plan for
So, Reefer,
this homeless
what you just
person
said is
should be different.
Reefer.
Could be, and should.
Reefer, hang on a second, because you're about to go into a word salad. And also, you're about to explain homelessness to a person who's homeless. So, what homeless people need is housing. Housing first, hands down, full stop. Second of all, speaking of what Sean pointed out and what was said earlier, you said that you would rather the housing go to a military vet than somebody who's been dealing with battling with drugs and alcohol all their life.
That's not what I
Actually,
said.
that is what you said, and you can watch the VOD later when I upload it. So
I said depending on.
Sir, you're gonna stop. So why is there such a focus on drugs and alcohol? Because when I brought up Trump Jr. and Hunter Biden and said you don't care about drugs and alcohol because there are plenty of housed people on drugs and alcohol, you just kind of skipped over that. And what Sean said actually reminded me that the biggest issue with homeless people with drugs and alcohol is that people just don't think that homeless people deserve things, especially not nice things, especially not things that we consider luxuries. Meanwhile, housed people can just drug and alcohol it up all they want. And that's where the discrepancy is. And you are the third person just today, and I have not been on live that long today, that has brought up drugs and alcohol. Y'all are so sickly obsessed with drugs and alcohol. And also want to point out when you said contributing member of society, 60% of Americans are one missed paycheck away from being homeless. 60% of homeless people have income, and 40% of that 60% are employed full time. So it's not even about contributing. And while you think about that, I'm gonna let Stacy ask her question.
I want to go back to
I think you understand.
Go ahead, Stacy. I got him.
I want to go back to the privilege part because he kind of just skated past it. But I want to ask, like, do you realize that being white gives you a privilege, being male gives you a privilege, and you have it and benefit from it, whether you agree or disagree that you have it? Like, do you realize that?
I don't think we can really ask any white man
I
to
see
realize his privilege.
no difference in that. When I was younger, my friends would get in trouble with me because we were young and
Nobody asked for your backstory. I feel it's
It's a
just gonna be
yes or-
words.
they got the same
No,
exact
it's
punishment,
a-
Mr. T.
It's a word salad from that point. Chili, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you so much for waiting patiently, Chili. Chili, are you there? Chili, I'm not going to drop Chili if Chili doesn't answer right away because Chili has been waiting a while and has probably walked away. Philly? Oh, Chili, there you go. Chili.
Yeah, I'm just saying because I'm full-blooded Native American, right? And
Okay.
I understand my history
But before
of American history.
Chili, before we get started, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, look, I grew up off the reservation. They call me pretendian. I didn't hear this term until recently from a American Black African queen. I've been called everything from apple, redskin, prairie.
All right, we're not going to go there. That was just a trauma dump word salad. Philly, please go ahead. I'm sorry if I'm not saying your whole name. It's coming up. Yeah,
Oh,
Philly.
no,
Philly Moore.
you're fine. No, it says
Okay.
Polly. It's
Polly, I'm sorry.
Murray.
Polly,
Don't even-
I'm sorry.
Don't
Oh
worry
my
about it.
gosh.
It's not an issue. Really, it's not. But anyway, I was looking at your prompt, and
Mhm.
I know that I'm supposed to disagree if I'm going to request, but I took a chance. And I don't know if I'd use the word hate for both of them. I would say, however, that one party does seem to fund affordable housing structures more than the other one does when we talk about houseless individuals. I also think that different states handle houselessness in different ways. For example, here in my state, houseless individuals have actually one-bedroom apartments that they can move into with wraparound services. That's something that we do. We're a small state. We can do that.
Okay.
Other states don't seem to do that. I also see some states that actually refuse the funding that can be used to build affordable housing as well as provide wraparound services. And I find that frustrating. And that's really all I came up to say. I'm not going to waste your time.
No, you're fine. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm like, it's just a given, right?
Yeah.
One political party, it does seemingly do more to put money into funding. And
Mm-hmm.
with the issue that we're dealing with here in Minnesota, being a larger state, is that the funds can be misappropriated because
Mm-hmm.
the money that Tim Walz set aside for that budget specifically, and in the place where I am, our governor is using that money for sweeps and fences and concrete bricks. I mean, concrete slabs and evictions and whatnot, rather than using that money for programs like that. That's what the money is supposed to be for.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some of that money, some of the stuff that's paying for those fences is also coming out of our COVID budget and the opioid budget. Meanwhile, somewhere else in Minnesota, the mayor there is investing in tiny homes for unhoused people, but it's like we're also having a little bit of a tit for tat about that, because it's like there's no need to build new structures. Just
Right.
take the structures that are already built.
Right. Do you have, may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do you all have a lot of empty single family homes or?
Yes.
Okay. The only, and you know, I brought this up when I went to my last board of directors meeting about this. Um, and so one of the things I put to the property developer was we have X number of abandoned, it seems, or vacant single family homes. Why can't we, you know, get those fit for living, et cetera, and then house people that way, right? Because
Mhm.
you've got families. I mean, right? It's not just the single person that's houseless. You've got little families as well. And what came back to me was that property tax. This is what I got: property
Mhm.
taxes, maintenance. You know, all the typical stuff you would expect. And
Mhm.
so apparently, when it comes to single family homes and reconstructing those, then the tax write-off is not as great as if they build new construction for houseless people. That's what came back. Because you
Yeah.
know, when they build that, they get that 30-year tax write-off, right? The 30-year tax write-off.
Yeah, I
So
heard about that.
yeah, I'm sure. So when they want the 30-year tax write-off, right? More
Yeah.
than they want the other thing. So that's just my little frustration with the whole thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
and
see.
this.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
So
No, I was going to say
it's
you
also
got somebody
been.
else. So
Oh, Sean's been here before. Sean was on Stacy's account, and Sean went over to his own account. But
oh, okay.
I got no sound.
that
I'm a close and come back.
okay. The so like the biggest excuse for affordable housing is that even though they get the tax write off, it doesn't benefit them as much in the short term as much as it will in the long term, because like housing homeless people benefits everybody in the long term,
Mm-hmm.
but you may not catch those benefits in the short term, and people think about the short term because they think about the building and materials and stuff like that. That's why it makes more sense to put people in buildings that are already built instead of insisting that you need to build new infrastructure.
Well, now, actually, so the developer starts getting payments as well as the tax write-off, as
Hmm.
soon as lease up is completed. Well, I call it lease up, but as soon as it
Yeah.
begins operation. So they
So
have a short. Okay, go ahead.
we got a different explanation.
Okay. Okay. All right. Not a
Yeah.
problem. I understand. I understand. I hear different, I've learned as I've talked to different people across the nation, like is it Alabama? One of those states. They don't even, they won't even bring the funding in. And where I am, that's what we do. I mean, we
Hmm.
can't build it fast enough, right? And then
Right.
you're getting a different explanation. It's really interesting. But anyway, I really appreciate chatting with you. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you for coming up.
Have a great day.
Same to you.
Helios,
What's up?
can I just point out that
You're a white woman?
That.
no.
Oh no! Oh no! How did this white woman get here?
I snuck in. No, I just want to point out, like, we're mentioning all of these different places across the nation, and it just shows that the prompt is true. You know, like, this is how we do it in my state. This is how we do it in my city. This, you know, everybody's saying their own anecdotal experience, but that means we're going to have a mixture of Democratic and Republican cities and states. And the end of the story is houseless people get exploited and get harmed. It doesn't matter what city you're in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to point out, like, that the prompt is accurate. That's all.
Yeah. You're good.
And I wanted to say to Mark in the comments, was it Mark? Oh,
I don't know.
whoever the gentleman was that said he's full-blooded Native American, and a black person called him pretend.
Oh, that wasn't a person in the comments. That Chili Willy was in the box when he said that. He wasn't in the comments.
I hate to have to explain this, but black people being mean to you is not racism. Okay? It's them being mean and dicks. Like, we can be anti-indigenous, but it's not racism, bro. Okay?
It's not racism because we literally can't oppress them as other people of color. And it's like, I don't even know what he was about to say because I went on ahead and cut him off. But like, what he was saying had nothing to do with the fucking prompt. Some people just take the opportunity to come into spaces and either make up stories or trauma dump or whatever else and don't care about what's going on in the space. And it's like, nah, you need to get out, bro. Have a wonderful day. Same to you. But I do want to welcome Ronak to the panel. Hello, Ronak.
Hey, it's pronounced Ronak.
Ronak, my bad. What's your age?
I'm 20 years old, born in 2004.
So the panel today is plus 23, but you can come back at a different time. Right on. The panel today is plus 23, y'all. It says that on the intro message when you first come in. Yeah, you're good. So yeah, oh, go ahead.
When I hear people talking about...
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Thank you. When I hear people talking about exactly what you mean, where it's like, I mean, but it's good here and it's good there. That's literally the point, folks. The point is for everyone to have these experiences that you are, and we're talking about why they don't and why they should. It's not an argument about whether or not it exists or not. It's an argument about, great, glad things are great by where you're from, where you're at. The point is for everybody to have that same enjoyment where they are at, where it's not happening. So are we going to talk about how to get them there and why they aren't? Or are we going to keep talking about, I mean, but it's good here?
They're going to keep doing but it's good here because they don't understand the interconnectedness of it. And they also refuse to understand that just because it's good there now doesn't mean somebody else can get elected in and then suddenly it won't be good. Hey, Fatima. Hello, J Hill. It's just a difficult thing to do when Republican holds federal funds hostage. The Democrats do that too, though. Agreed. To be honest, probably the Democrats hate Americans. They're only out for themselves, basically. And we saw that with this election, with this this past election of how Kamala Harris abandoned the Democratic fan base and was catering to fucking Republicans because she thought she had the Democrats on lock and had to find out the hard way that she fucking doesn't. But for different issues, Dems withhold Fed funds when it comes to increasing weapon manufacturing, for example. Do they? Because there's a lot of bipartisan shit going through for Israel right now. Meanwhile, we're dying in the streets of exposure and illness. Bigger than Kamala. I wish it was. I really wish that were true. But the Democratic strategy really wasn't bigger than Kamala because, as we saw, not only by Kamala Harris losing, but Kamala Harris also lost the popular vote, and Senate and Congress are mostly Republican now. And if House ends up being mostly Republican, then they'll be able to remove the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. Like, Kamala Harris lost tragically, and people really need to get that into their heads. That's certainly true because they would be one of the first ones to help. Joyce, come up.
Because that's definitely not true. If they wanted to help, they'd be helping right now, literally. Joe Biden is going toward the end of his presidency. It's literally the time to do all of the things that you said you were going to do, knowing that someone else on the opposite spectrum is going to be coming up, and pretty much dare them to take away all of the beneficial things that you would be doing in order to show the American people that indeed they're not for you. Perfect opportunity right now for them to be doing that. Yet they're not.
Yeah. Just like they let Kamala Harris run off of a campaign promise that she would restore Roe v. Wade instead of doing it fucking now. Hello, Coolette. I invited the person up that says that nobody cares about my opinion, so I was like, "Oh, come up then."
I mean, Stacey's point talks about, they just talked about how presidents have immunity, pretty much, do as you please. Go ahead, Biden. There you go right there. But again, don't want to. It's about maintaining the financial power structure where, pay attention, Democrats enjoy getting paid more when they lose. Republicans enjoy when they win. But as long as both parties are supplied with money, then the wants and needs of companies and foreign entities are what a priority.
Facts. That's why there's all this stuff going on about Ukraine and Israel and shit. And it's like all this money going to them. Meanwhile, people over here are literally dying.
Because, man, Kamala tried. She sure tried, didn't she?
No, she didn't.
Still got those
She didn't.
funds.
She
I mean,
didn't try at all.
No, you see
Oh,
this?
okay.
Tried.
Yeah.
Kamala still has that campaign money, though, right? And they're still going to be going on their speaking tours and book tours and all of that stuff, right? So, no, she didn't lose. She went by the playbook.
She didn't separate herself from Joe Biden on anything. And people were talking about how Donald Trump getting into the garbage truck was a bad strategy, when the reason why people lose campaigns is when they don't separate themselves from their predecessors at all. And she didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. To speak to Homeboy's claim about privilege and it not existing, old white dude literally could not do enough for people to not support him.
Yeah.
Easily. You remember when Kamala said she could pow somebody in the middle of Fifth Ave and get away with it? And everybody was like, that's terrible. Oh, yeah, that's right. She didn't. That was Trump. Perfectly fine. But we'll talk about how Kamala, black man, and suddenly we care about putting black man in jail. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you're telling me that all this is fine. The point is, the man could not do enough wrong to lose people's support. Kamala was never going to do enough right to gain their support. And that is the setup of the country. This was not a surprise to Kamala. She's not like, oh, the country didn't want a black woman as president. I'm so surprised. No, it was never going to happen. But if we can have our pockets open and get that bag, then yeah, I'm all here for it. And that's what happened.
Yeah. And they're thinking that she's going to run for governor of California, but we'll see how far she gets because there's a lot of people that are very unhappy with what she did with how she was arresting parents of chronically ill children for truancy. Hello, Seven Deadly. Hello, Ancient.
I mean, we can go hit for hit when it comes to what people were spending money on and, all of that being bad. The point is all of it's bad. None of it's going to the people that need it. If they really wanted to solve the homeless problem, that they would. You know how the only reason they would solve any of these social issue problems would be for the benefit of the party. Let's not forget, there was the party shift, and you know how they fought the party shift?
How?
Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act and famously said, them Nners are going to be voting Democrat for the next 60 years. And guess what? There you go.
Well, for all the good it got him because they still couldn't pull those 4 million other votes that Joe Biden could pull. So there you have it.
Yeah, so it was never for these people. Like he showed that, okay, fine, I'll give you this one thing, but this is for the benefit of the party, so that we'll continue to enjoy this. Obviously, eventually, all that wore down.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, this problem was bettered for the benefit of white supremacy. Whenever there's a serious benefit that's worth it to them, that's when they'll take it seriously. If there's a bunch of homeless people that are somehow going to triple their money, then they'll be all about it. But until then, no, they don't care. Neither do the American people.
Stacy wanted to say something though. Stacy, what's up?
It's just easier to say it on here, or else he has to shut the volume off. No, that just goes to show privilege again.
Right.
Like, Biden got the votes based on misogyny and white privilege.
I mean, yes, I can't. I'm not going to act like there is absolutely nobody who refused to vote for Kamala Harris because she's black and or a woman, and she, like, on top of having these systemic things against her, she campaigned towards the Republicans instead of the Democrats.
Absolutely. I got their emails every day, 5 times a day.
Oh yeah, being
for real.
does not ensure success.
Yeah, no.
She was never trying to sell herself or her policies. She was just, oh no, Trump's bad. Well, he is bad, obviously. But
You just getting around to that? Yeah, he's been bad.
Yeah, like, why don't you say what you're gonna do, not tell people what he's gonna do? That every single email, their whole website, everything was just devoted to that.
But the simple fact that there's no money in it, because let's be honest, all Kamala really had to do, if she was going to be serious about making changes, was denounce everything with AIPAC.
Yeah, basically.
Done.
Yep.
Easy.
But that's her money. That's their money, the DNC.
It's almost like the money was more important.
Yep.
Almost.
So no, it's never been about the American people, because it would be funny if, and that, you know how messed up it is if Israel was like, hey, we want to take care of your homeless problem for, our benefit. They'd be all about it.
Yeah, they would.
And that's like, we can all honestly say that. So when it comes to the homeless population, it's not that people are, they make terrible choices and we need to have these programs to help them make better choices. It's no, the country needs to not be shaped in a way of which they have no problem with people being collateral damage for their profit and benefit.
Right.
That's what homeless people are, collateral damage for capitalism.
So we're going to take a little commercial break right here. Thank y'all so much for 4.1K likes. Let's get to 10K likes. And how we're going to get to 10K likes is that we're going to share the live. So if you have the capacity, please do share the live. Share the live I request that people share the live less than 5 users at a time. Not necessarily 1 at a time, but less than 5 at a time, please and thank you.
Helios,
And what's up? What's up?
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. So please do share the live so we can get more people in here. We also do want guests. We want, because we, like, this people are being pretty divisive today, especially with like trying to tone police with use around the word hate. But I've had plenty of people engage with this topic for what it is. And we can definitely find those people if people share the live. And also vote on the poll at the top left of the screen. If you are not a mod, please vote on the poll. Please and thank you. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. What's wild to me is that people don't realize, everyone in the know knows the statement, convince the poorest white man he's better off than the,
The
wealthiest
richest,
person.
yeah.
Yeah. So how people don't realize, hey, why are there poor white people too? Very easily, because think about a system so terrible and nefarious that actually pause that. Let me remember where I was at with that. Nefarious, cool. Dave Chappelle had this thing, and I don't agree with Dave Chappelle on really anything. It's just this one thing was fucking poignant where he was like,
You're good.
hanging around rich white people. And you know what they call you guys? They call you trash. And it's like, oh yeah, y'all forgot that, didn't you? That they call you white trash, that they call you less than, all of that stuff. And that doesn't change just because they're racist too. They hate the both of you. And when it comes down to it, could you imagine a system so crappy that they're fine with white people suffering with it too, as long as they get to keep the minorities down?
Soldier Boy, tell him. Well, like, Dave Chappelle was cool until he started punching down. When he was punching up, everything was fine. Like, let's remember that era,
Because motherfuckers really be like, no, look, rich people love us. They want us to be rich like them. Okay.
Then why aren't you rich?
So take your ass to the country club and see how well you get treated then. They're going to give you a free membership.
Nope, they're gonna make you buy a polo too.
Like, yeah, they're gonna give you the clubs because they're gonna assume you work there. And they're gonna be upset if you don't know your place. Wrong
But
side.
they're
of
not
the
going to
tracks
kick you
never-
out because you're right. Wait.
Yeah, wrong side of the tracks never apply to just people of color. There's like a thing called The Others. Great book. Literally talking about, hey, we're white too, but for some reason they treat us badly. It's called classism. And classism and racism both exist at the same time. And by the way, yes, I was taught that he was bad. I was taught that raping women, easily bad. Being racist, easily bad. I mean, cheating on your pregnant wife. So many basic things. Yes, as in whenever someone does bad things and they continue to unapologetically, they're a bad person. Yes, I was taught that. And I messed around and took the lesson. Whoops.
Yeah, facts. Like, people gotta go through life learning that kind of stuff. Sometimes you do stuff to see if you can push boundaries like you did when you were a teenager, even though you're still doing it as an adult. But how long has it been? I'm gonna check and see how long I've been on live. Oh, it's been almost an hour. I'm gonna do a solid hour. I'm at 53 minutes. So we're gonna go over to general topic where we can just openly discuss anything, since we've kind of been doing that anyway. But like now we can also like leave electoral politics and talk about other stuff if we want. And this is the part where I also start boosting my blue sky, because my blue sky tag is different from my other tag. House person was too long, so I had to do educated unhoused. Ugh. But yeah.
You know what's wild?
What's up?
Let's play a game.
Yeah.
How many things were the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight more popular than?
I don't know. I stopped watching when Netflix fucked up the hey Neuro, when Netflix fucked up the women's fight, the only women's fight, and everything else was fine that whole fucking night, and then they fucked up the women's fight.
You know what's wild? We see example after example of ancient Rome, and evidently, I mean, there's something about guys thinking about Rome every day or some shit like that. How do you not see the literal gladiators being put forward in front of the people to have them not think about the terrible economic woes they're going through. Remember that?
Because enough of them aren't going through enough of the woes. Yeah.
Helios, I have a joke for you about the fight.
What's up?
It's a meme on Facebook. It says, "We fought harder with Netflix than Paul and Tyson fought in the ring."
And then he still won.
I mean, he was always going
Like-
to win. I hope people know that.
I don't care. I wanted to watch the women's fight. I don't care about them. And Netflix fucked up the women's fight.
Of course they did. Of course they
The
did.
weaponized incompetence is real.
Yeah, because make no mistake, Mike Tyson would still punch a hole through Jake Paul. Like, no one thinks it's weird he didn't at least hurt him.
He didn't hurt him? I didn't watch the fight, so I don't know what it looked like. I watched the first three, and it's total bullshit that Boris and Ramos ended in a fucking tie.
That was him, yeah. He didn't even nibble
That
at
was
her.
bullshit. That was absolute bullshit. He didn't even nibble an ear. That was bullshit. That is a total bullshit that fight ended in a tie, especially when Homeboy used his elbow and his forearm. He was clearly cheating.
But here's the thing, though. They both got paid.
Yeah, they both got paid. You're right.
So, like, we have to understand that, like, are these people who do competitive sports or any kind of entertainment, do they care what the outcome is? Like,
Shit,
really,
is that lightning?
at the end of the day? Like, they're getting
think
paid regardless.
I don't think they get paid the same, though, because they both look really fucking pissed.
Didn't he get like 30 mil?
They both got paid and they both got suspended afterwards. So who knows?
Why did they both get suspended? What the fuck is
I'm
that?
not sure. Let me look. I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
Damn.
Okay.
But like, that's the entire point. That's the thing too. People just started paying attention to this Jake Paul thing just now. Jake Paul has been a very smart businessman when it comes to challenging celebrities here and there, and being able to have it so that the interest grows and grows, so that that's his niche. His niche is to challenge people, not have an actual boxing career, and
Keep talking.
and continue to have attention on him with this new kind of career that he's fostering for himself. Because
Yeah.
say Jake Paul actually started competing in boxing. Like,
I don't think Jake Paul would necessarily do poorly, but Jason wants to tap in on this one. He started in the comments. Jason, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. I just want to say, for most of the time after a boxing match, it is pretty much mandatory for suspension to happen. And what suspension is essentially meaning is, it's not suspension from boxing like you did something wrong in boxing. Suspension is you have to have so many days of rest after a boxing match. So because they boxed for the whole entire 8 rounds, they have to have 24 days of rest, which is considered suspension, but it's not suspension of them doing something illegal in boxing. It is just a part of the law of Texas to have rest and to get people to rest their bodies and not go straight to another boxing match a couple days later.
Okay.
The second thing I want to add on to, Jake Paul, and in this whole entire boxing match, if you really want to be truthful, you want to be honest about it, it was nothing but a clans meeting with MAGA hat, or MAG hats, if you want to, whatever you want to label them as, because I live in Dallas, Texas. I had a few friends of mine that were actually there last night, and about 90% of what they saw last night were just people wearing their MAGA hats and their Trump hats, and, all that little paraphernalia and stuff like that. So last night we saw basically 3 people get robbed last night. The first match, the guy got robbed out of his match. Marco should not have won it. My Puerto Rican sister definitely beat that white woman, but got robbed of it. And this whole entire match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson doesn't make sense. We all know it was scripted, because if you look at Mike Tyson's training videos a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Mike Tyson was moving and grooving way better than that. He was hitting better than that. He was doing all of that. Mike Tyson literally just did this for the money, to make sure his family is good. But Mike Tyson still was a champion out of all of this because he stood in the ring with a 27-year-old man. He took a hit and he was there all 8 rounds. But what I will say is that his legs were not doing good last night. I watched that fight and his legs were not doing good. So I am appreciative Jake Paul didn't do anything extra and hurt Iron Mike. I am appreciative for that perspective. But what I will say is Jake Paul will never be a real fighter to me until he has a boxing match that he does not set the rules for. That is when he will be considered a boxer to me. And I'm not saying that he's not a boxer, but I've seen him get knocked out one time before. Only one time in his career has he been knocked out. But almost every fight that he has, he sets the rules and the limitations for it. That is the problem to me. So when you can fight somebody like Tank Davis or you can fight somebody else that got hands and they set the rules, then I will respect you. Until then, I feel like that was nothing but a colonizer party last night, and that's just my thoughts on it. Thank you for allowing me to come up.
Hey, Jason,
And,
wait, Jason.
Yep.
Tell me if you saw this. Tell me if you saw this too. They were to me. They were hoping that it was going to turn into a black versus white thing, and that black people were going to be way more into it, to where they'd be able to promote it like it was a Rocky Apollo Creed kind of thing. That's the feeling I get from it.
No. So tinfoil hat. You want to put your tinfoil hat on real quick? Okay.
There you go.
So this is my theory, and this is just my thought. We already lost the election November the 6th, right? So,
Okay.
so we all know, truly and truthfully, Mike Tyson could have knocked this colonizer out, right? But
Yeah.
but we understand that boxing and UFC is mostly MAGA Republican. That's where they hang out at, right? So they
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that we had 2 losses in the same month. You get where I'm going with this now?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was scripted for him to lose, but at the same time, I bet they were hoping that it was going to be a mini boxing race war.
Don't think about it like that. Think about it the other perspective. You're missing the biggest perspective of it all. The first fight was between two men that were Hispanic, right? The next fight after that was between a Puerto Rican woman and a white Ireland woman, right?
No, there were 4 fights. Hell, there were 4 fights, right? I remember 2 men, 2 women, and then Paul and Tyson.
The 3 fights that I saw, that's the only 3. I didn't catch the very first fight. I didn't care to watch that fight. But I'm talking about the 2 Hispanic fighters. That one that was from San Antonio, and then Marcos that was from Arizona. That's when I started watching it. Marcos won, and he shouldn't have. Then you look at the Puerto Rican
This is
lady.
a mental illness. So we need to stop it at all costs.
Hang on a
And we
second.
won't race it.
Oh, if anybody would like to shit on this fascist, you can go ahead. Don't worry, I'll keep it muted.
Make God great again.
Who does that? Who does that?
Men are
I
not.
don't know, somebody who doesn't have a life.
I just want to know, God's
Some little
back with
birthday
his
party
dog,
and flip
so
tables.
worship a dog.
Trump is going to say
It's okay. Just.
liberalism
Anyways,
disorder. It's a
anyways,
mental
Sean, back to our conversation.
illness.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back to that. What I'm saying is that remember they cheated the Puerto Rican, the queen, out of that victory. We all know she won. When you look at everything, she
It's
won.
a mental illness. Get rid of it. And wokeism.
And then you go to the Jake Paul, the Jake Paul fight, right? And then Mike
Jake Paul
Tyson
fight.
loses. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say 10 full hat time.
It's got to go out of schools
This is just them trying to
immediately.
publicly say we're just gonna make y'all lose no matter what. That's just a conspiracy, and I've seen somebody else floating this around TikTok.
CRT wokeism is a mental illness. We got to teach kids it as soon as possible.
No, I do want to no, keep going, bro. I want to see what you have to say.
No, I'm gonna keep inviting him and dropping him down just to see how long he keeps it up. I like playing with white men. I don't know about y'all, but Jason, I tell you what.
Just tell
Make
him,
God
just
get
tell
rid
him
again.
that
Praise
you
Jesus.
will offer to peg him. Just he likes pegging. So just tell him,
He likes pegging.
He wants to be
Great
pegged.
again.
Okay?
Hallelujah. Praise the
He
Lord.
wants to be pegged. He wants to be. Praise the Lord. You want to get pegged.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Gotta
But look,
cross
that's just my conspiracy theory. Again, I'm not saying that's really what happened, but I'm just saying based off of the Puerto Rican fighter losing to the white woman and then the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't see all that part. It makes sense when you talk about it.
Yeah,
I think that I saw the first I saw the first fight. And the first fight was from what I recall a native and a Middle American. And that's as I recall. Y'all can definitely correct me if I'm wrong.
Did you say Middle American?
Yeah, I say Middle American because it's Honduras, Mexico, Venezuela, etc. That's what I say, middle.
Huh, I get it.
Because calling everyone Mexican is inaccurate. But it was weird because it's like I get what Jason is saying because it was kind of a race play the whole night when you zoom out. So I get that.
Like a I don't want to say minstrel show, but boxing, but like whatever version it would be where, hey, come watch these minorities lose.
Yeah, I don't want to say minstrel show either. It was just weird and timely, and based on Jason's account of what was said with like how things went in Dallas that night, I am going to agree that it was a Klan meeting. We know that it's mostly white males that run this industry and are in control of the money. And it was a lot of fucking people of color fighting that night.
That reminds me of punk.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah. Again, this is just my tinfoil hat moment, but
No, you're good.
I like I said, I had a few buddies that called me this morning and kind of told me there were some fights and things that happened down there last night because of some racist things were happening and this here and whatever. But I just think people should just go back over the last year and look at every boxing match that has been televised over the last year, or look at any UFC fight that has been televised the last year. There has been one orange potato peel that has been in almost every UFC fight and almost every boxing match. And then you got to think about who runs those promotions, like Dana White and all those people like that, and who they have ties to. And then that's why I say, to me, it was just it really made me mad when I saw that they really gave it to the Ireland lady over my sister from Puerto Rico. I really was mad about that because like there was no way that should have ever happened. If you've ever boxed or you ever fought anything, you even look at the punches compared to the punches that she threw, it was like not even in comparison, not even a comparison at all. But hey, that is just my thing. Jake Paul will not be a boxer till I see him fight somebody that is worthy and he doesn't set the rules for it. But what I will give Jake Paul for credit, because I've seen somebody else say this and I will agree to this, I will give Jake Paul credit for the simple fact is that he has put a lot of money back into boxing, and that I will give him credit for because we did need somebody to really put boxing back in the spotlight. I'm only 34, but if you go back from 2008 to now, like boxing hasn't been as big as it was back in the 90s, 80s, and 70s. It just wasn't.
Yeah, boxing really fell off.
Yeah, UFC was big. UFC started taking off, but boxing didn't, right? Yeah. But then you have people like Jake Paul that were coming in and making these fights. So it is bringing some, revenue, some money, and some things into the industry, which I do appreciate. And then I also know, even though I don't like him, he does fight for women's boxers' pay to be higher, which I do like that part about him. But other than that, he could just go to the dumpster fire, and that's it.
I mean, like nobody's gonna be 100% wrong, right? Like people are nuanced with the ability to cause harm and healing. And when it comes to people, there are some good reasons to throw people out completely because they're not good to have in your sphere. And let's acknowledge that people are nuanced beings, right? So I didn't know that about Jake Paul. I'm not that deep into it. And like I think like pretty much nobody likes the Pauls because even though they have obviously good qualities, like, yes, equal pay for all of the things, please and thank you. They do, it's like you can go without hearing the good thing about them because the bad things they do are so outrageous, like the fucking suicide forest. Like, that hurt both of them. And I think people realize that. So, yeah, I'm not arguing with any of your points. I'm just saying that.
Well, that's why I don't like him, because the way he made his fame was by being a controversial YouTuber. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's just be careful with that because it kind of sounds like you said cunt.
I was just telling Stacey that, like, they were the Vine dudes that was just stealing the culture and
Right, and they did some outrageous and outlandish things to become who they are, and they used controversy to do that. And in me personally, and this is just my personal take, but anybody that has ever used a platform to build off of controversy is not somebody that I really care about. I can acknowledge that maybe the good things that you are doing, but I can also recognize that 90% of you is terrible, and I would never ever want to even look at you or even touch you or be in the same room as you. But I can also recognize that there is a 10% of you that is, somewhat decent, because that's just some of the things that I'm seeing them do for the boxing community as a whole. But other than that, nah, like I said, throw them in the dumpster fire. I'll be okay if we don't have no pause tomorrow. I might wake up and scream and jump for joy if we woke up with no pause tomorrow. But at the end of the day, our first op is the orange potato peel first. But yeah, other than that, thank you for allowing me to come up. Sean, it was good seeing you. I did give you a follow, so I will be in here more, and you're on Blue Sky, so I'm going to screenshot this and follow you.
I don't know.
All right.
All right, Sean, we're going to do final thoughts and we're going to head out. It has been an hour.
Hey, Jason's the truth, man. Ross, my final thought will be, when somebody says they like something, that means that they like it whenever it works for them and they don't like it when it doesn't. When I say I love something, I love it for what it is. So you may like the truth, but it's pretty clear you don't like it when it's not in your favor. I love the truth, whether or not it's in my favor. That's all.
Yeah, I'll second that statement. I don't like the truth. I love the truth because I love it when it works for me or against me, because the truth is more important. And also shout out to Blue Sky. Like, Ross is I guess we're gonna call them the X's, the evil X's. Ross is one of the evil X's. We're gonna take the Scott Pilgrim reference. And like, being anti-Blue Sky doesn't do anything. I promise you, it doesn't do anything. It's like, I don't know, for all of these facts over feelings and like fuck your feelings and all this here, y'all sure are trying to clamor for the attention of people who've decided to leave you. And that's weird. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Y'all get a gun, shoot a rapist, make racists afraid again, and I'll see you next time.